What is up, boys and girls? It's your pal right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Guys Roll Lee Sanders. And you are checking out a very special late night edition of the RCWR show coming at you for June 24th, 2014. It is exactly 1 a.m. Tuesday morning. A very good morning to you all. I am dead fucking tired. I just came back from seeing WWE Raw at the Verizon Center. I know many of you that probably weren't in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. You probably were watching it at home. And hey, thank you for checking this out. If maybe you decided to stay up just to see what I had to say about Raw tonight from that standpoint of actually being there, as this was their final WWE Raw, as the company makes its way to Boston this Sunday for their Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Now, look, for those of you that might be new to our channel and you're seeing this piece for the very first time and you're looking for actual WWE footage, you can find little highlights of what all you missed on WWE's YouTube channel at WWE Fan Nation. If you still can't find what you're looking for, you might be able to find it at WWE.com. If you have cable, satellite, you can definitely catch Raw, God, SmackDown replays all throughout the weekend in Espanol, you name it. Just check your local listings, all right? As always, for those of you longtime watchers, fans of our show, you know the drill. Post those comments down below. Let me know what you had thought about Monday's WWE Raw. We'll get you part of the conversation. You can share this piece a number of ways. You can Google Plus it, Facebook it, retweet it, as it's one of the many ways you can spread the good word about our content. And hey, you can also get my attention on Twitter at the RCWR Show. And if you haven't already given our Facebook page a like over at Infinity One Productions, that's Infinity, and you actually have to spell out the one, not just put the numeral in there. You actually have to spell out one and then productions, or you just go to the links below in the episode description. But I'm plugging Facebook because I probably am not going to do it tonight because I'm dead tired. But I definitely will have it uploaded first thing early in the morning, which is all the pictures that I had took tonight while I was there at Raw. I was multitasking. I was taking pictures with my Samsung, and then I was taking pictures with a little professional camera that I have. So all the photos that I had mainly took throughout the night really had kind of came off of the camera that I had, the professional one. So I'm actually going to just take my time on those on our Facebook page. So make sure you follow us over there and all that. Took some really great pics, man. All right, I'm going to be referring to my phone here. You guys got to bear with me. I'm actually still just a little bit tipsy. I had a couple of beers all throughout the night tonight. So I'm definitely going to be looking down a lot at my notes to try to help jog my memory. It pays to take notes on your phone, I tell you. But yeah, let's go on ahead and let's talk about tonight's final WWE Raw. Now, I'm going to be giving you guys some spoiler alerts for those of you that don't care too much for spoilers. You might want to just maybe pause this or come back in about 5 minutes and I should be done talking about spoilers. But it has to do with WWE programming that you're going to be seeing play out the rest of this week on Main Event and SmackDown. Not really too much had transpired, but I just want to share this with you guys. Once again, if you don't want to hear spoilers, now's the time. Make your exit. Come back in about 5 minutes. I should be done talking about the spoilers. I'm going to pause for about 3 seconds, and then I'm just going to go right for it. All right, let's do it. All right, so first things first, we actually saw a match between Adam Rose and Heath Slater, and I believe they had did this match, I want to say for Superstars. I think they had did this match. Adam Rose picking up the victory, defeating Heath Slater. It was kind of funny seeing Hornswoggle come out. He had like the most ridiculous, my God, it looked like Joe the Plumber or My Name is Joe. He had just this weird blondish kind of mohawk thing almost going on with, I think he had a helmet on, I'm not really sure. You know, it was actually my first time really paying attention to Hornswoggle, I didn't realize how short he was. I mean, the cameras don't really do him justice when you're watching at home, when you actually see the man in attendance. And I had some pretty good seats too. I don't know if you guys were following me on Twitter throughout the night. There was one or two pics that I had put out, not only on Twitter but also on Facebook to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect as far as the pictures go. But again, I took some really great photos. Um, you know, Before I even go any further with the match results, one thing or a couple of things that I want to bring to your attention tonight that I thought was rather unique. So I get to the Verizon Center at like about, I would say maybe about 4:30 p.m. And we were allowed to go inside the Verizon Center and enjoy the nice, cool AC, but we couldn't get to our seats. It was just way too early. These guys weren't going to let us go, not until like about 7, but like a quarter to, they actually had went on ahead and let us go. But I thought it was kind of cool how I had arrived there that early, and there really wasn't that many people at first by the time I got there. And then, like every 15 minutes, it just seemed like more and more people had started to come. And long story short, I basically was standing there from like 4:30 on to a quarter to 7. And I was one of the first people in line, though, so that when the security got ready to scan my ticket and all that, I could just go on ahead. I think I was like, trying to think, there was a father, two sons ahead of me, and then there was a wife, a husband, and a son. So what's that, like 6 people? There was only like 6 people ahead of me in my respected line. So I mean, that really wasn't too bad. I don't know if it was the guy that was in front of me, but or his kids, but one of them has smelled bad. They smelled like they did not wash their ass for like a couple of days, and I was just baffled by that. I'm saying to myself, how the hell are you going to show up at an event knowing that you're going to be surrounded by other people and you're smelling bad? That like makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's like wash yourself before you attend. I mean, I can be a little bit more blunt because it's late at night and everything, and I'm feeling rather loose tonight. I'm probably not going to be as candid with my language that I'm about to be using here, but I mean, come on. A majority of you guys that check out wrestling are guys. I mean, we got the females, but for the most part, majority of the females, they know better. They know to be representing. Guys, come on now, represent. Have your balls be cleaned when you get ready to go out in public. That's all I've got to say. I didn't know which one was more worse. The fact that the guy in front of me smelled a little funny, or maybe it was his kids that smelled a little funny. And it's not like the kids were young either. The kids looked like they might have been 10 and 8 years old. I don't know what was more worse though. The fact that the kids kept horsing around playing, and every now and then they kind of bumped into me, or the family that was behind me, and there was a son and a daughter that just kept going at it, and they just kept bumping into me. I didn't know which one of those combinations was worse. Maybe they all were worse. I don't know. But when a quarter to 7 came about, they finally had let us go. And again, they didn't let us go into the arena just yet, as the lines, it just really started to pack up. And there was actually a few people that were very disgruntled about the fact that they had to stand in line again just to get the green light that it was okay for them to go to their seats. And it was just at one point for like about maybe 10 minutes, it was like going through a maze. I mean, it was really, really tough going around people, man. I went on ahead and I just made like 2 laps walking wise around the Verizon Center. I figured, hey, man, at least if I make 2 laps, everybody should be able to go to their seats by then. And I took a look at the kiosk for WWE merchandise and all that, and I couldn't help but notice like how much the prices were for it. I mean, I kind of paid attention last time I went, but like seeing the prices, I'm proud to say I've never bought anything at the WWE kiosk because the prices are just ridiculous. I saw like a couple of John Cena shirts that were like $35, and it was so hilarious because like I actually had a conversation with one of the people that was looking at the prices, and it kind of caught me as I was walking past them, and then I like stopped and looked because I heard him say, "Man, you could get better prices at Hot Topic. You could get them for like half off or like buy one get one free. This is highway freaking robbery." And I was like, "Yeah, it is highway fucking robbery." You know, I tell you what, John Cena's laughing his ass off to the bank. Just watch how many kids are going to be dressed in John Cena merchandise. You know, John Cena's getting that bank. But yeah, I just thought it was insane the prices. I helped myself to some really delicious um, chicken tenders, buffalo chicken tenders, very hot. Some French fries, cheese cup. Had myself a nice big old fat 24-ounce cup of beer. And the cashier had flattered the hell out of me. She asked me for my ID. And I told her, I said, "Aren't you sweet?" I told her, I said, "You're so sweet. You know, you got me feeling young today." And I was kind of feeling like an old man being here because there's like a lot of young people here this go around, younger people here this go around. And she took a look at my ID and she was kind of like, damn. So kind of like a, damn, not only are you cute, but you're close to my age. Because she said real loud, she said, "Mmm, oh, you're my age." And I'm like, yeah, yeah, uh-huh. And she hooked me up with my beer and all that. It was awesome. From there, like I said, I had already did 2 laps at this point. I got my food, got my beer, and was able to finally go to my seat. And it was nice, you know, for about maybe 45 minutes. I had like 2 seats to the left of me that were empty, but then these 2 young girls had came and they sat next to me. They were pretty cool though, man. I was amazed that their parents had allowed them to go to this Raw event by themselves. I guess maybe they don't live that far. They looked rather young. They looked like they were probably 14 and 15. I definitely did not get the vibe that one of them was driving just yet. That's how young they really came off to me. That's how young they looked. If it turns out one of them was actually older than that, more power to them. But they were pretty cool, man. I actually had enjoyed their company. There was actually a couple that was on my right side. They were pretty cool, nice and quiet. And yeah, so I mean, you know, had some pretty damn good seats. Nice crowd that was around me. Got to see my man Ellis Emba, who was in attendance at Raw. I start to go say hello to him, and it looked like maybe he was with his girlfriend and a couple of friends. I started to go say hello to him. You guys know Ellis Emba, the shocking Undertaker guy, the black guy that made the shocking look when he saw that Undertaker streak was now taken away from him as it went to Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I actually had saw him in attendance, and like I said, I started to go say hello to him, but I didn't want to get any hassle from security because where he was sitting, and for those of you that have been to the live WWE event, you kind of have an idea of the layout. Those of you that have been to the Verizon Center a few times, then you'll definitely know the layout that I'm talking about. But like where Ellis was, it was basically a section of steel folded chairs, and it was like pretty close over to the ramp area where the stars come out and everything. So he was pretty much right around there. He has some pretty good seats as well. But I think like as you're trying to get to that section, I think you gotta like, I know you definitely run into security down there. You can't just go la di da di da. Security stops you, and they're like trying to verify that you have some type of business being right there. They're more keen on making sure that people are sitting where they're supposed to be in that area, kind of as opposed to if you're sitting outside of that zone and everything. But it was great seeing him in attendance. So we told you about the first match that had came about. As far as spoilers go, I'm looking up some more matches for you here. Next match we had saw Rybaxel. They had defeated R Truth and Xavier Woods. You know, honestly, and I got to go back to the Adam Rose entrance for a second. I just thought now that I was actually able to experience Adam Rose's entrance for the very first time in person, getting that whole live feel experience, I did not feel like, I didn't feel that at all. If anything, I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen. My section, as I really wasn't paying attention to like how everybody else was like way on the other side, but like my section, when we saw Adam Rose come out, you had a few people that were kind of jumping up and everything, but it was just kind of like, oh, all right, it's Adam Rose. One guy, and he was very obsessed with the bunny. He kept asking. I mean, he was yelling it too. He was like, "Where's the bunny? Where's the bunny? I came to see the bunny. Where's the bunny?" And I'm like, wow, this guy really loves his bunnies. But you know, those first two matches, which was for superstars, I really it was okay. That's all I gotta say. Put it to you this way: you don't need to go out of your way, break your neck to go see these two particular matches. It really wasn't anything that special. I loved how Raw had kicked off with Stephanie McMahon and Vickie Guerrero. I took some really great pictures of Stephanie too. You know, the past few Raw events that I've been to, you know, it was really hard to get some really great pictures of Stephanie McMahon because the past two events I went to, I kept seeing the back of her. This go round, where I was sitting, I pretty much saw as soon as they came out from behind the gorilla position. So I was just snapping away all the way till she got in the ring and everything. I took some really great pictures of her. It was really nice to finally get some nice hot ass outfit that she was wearing tonight too, man. Pink and black never looked so good. You know, there's actually a Robert Plant song called Pink and Black, and every time I hear that song, for the weirdest reason, those of you that know your 80s music and you know your Robert Plant catalog, for some reason, when you listen to the beginning of that song, it sounds like the hook part, it sounds like Mickey James' intro. For the longest time, I always wondered, like, why Robert Plant's music label didn't try to sue WWE because I swear it sounded like they borrowed some samples from Robert Plant's joint. Of course, now that I'm saying that, I probably might be jinxing WWE. Sorry in advance, WWE. But yeah, man, Stephanie, hot ass outfit, man. MILF never looked so good. But we saw Stephanie McMahon basically follow up on what had went down last week as she had suffered a little bit of a barfing and maybe some constipation, some diarrhea because of a spiked drink that she had received from Vickie Guerrero. She demanded for Vickie Guerrero to come out as it was time to suffer the consequences. Vickie Guerrero saying, "Hey, look, it wasn't my fault. It was Roman Reigns. If you give me the opportunity to prove myself, I promise you I can make this up to you." Was I the only one that was kind of getting the impression that maybe we were about to see some type of a Stephanie McMahon kiss my ass club? I thought that was maybe the direction that it was going to be going, but it didn't go that route. Instead, we saw Stephanie McMahon say, "Get on your knees, beg, beg to me, Vickie, beg to me." And I'm like, wow, this kind of has like some kinky vibe to it from my standpoint because it was kind of like, wow, get on your knees, beg. It seemed like some bondage and submission type of crap, man. Like worship your mistress, you know. But you know, Vicky didn't really do a good job in begging. As I just love how Stephanie just kind of put that dagger in a little more and was like, "You're pathetic. Get up." And it was like, yeah, S&M at its finest, folks. Yeah. But we saw Stephanie say to Vickie Guerrero, "Look, I'm going to give you an opportunity to continue to keep your job as the general manager for SmackDown if you become victorious in your match?" To which Vickie said, "Look, I'm not an in-ring competitor. I don't really know how to wrestle." And Stephanie just really kind of brought it home that, again, Vickie Guerrero, pathetic, insult to the Guerrero name. And I love how we all just started chanting for Eddie Guerrero and everything. And I love how Stephanie kind of played off of that and was like, you know what? Yes, mad respect to Eddie Guerrero, but Vickie, you just have not been living up to the last name. You're insulting his memory, all this, blah, blah, blah. And it was nice to see Vickie Guerrero get a backbone and say, you know what, I'm going to do this match. You know, I'm going to do it. And at which Vickie still did not know who her opponent was going to be. As Stephanie dropped the bomb on her that it was going to be she, yes, Vickie Guerrero, taking on Stephanie McMahon. And I just want to go right to that match too. Let's go ahead and let's talk about that and if you were following us on Twitter, then you had got the early bird because I had put a tweet out saying, hey, from my vantage point, and I had a damn good vantage point too. I told you guys it looked as though the WWE crew were getting ready to set up a mud pool bath, as that looks like that was going to be the type of match that they were going to be having. And sure enough, that's exactly what it was. There was about 10 guys part of the WWE crew that was setting it up and everything. I noticed there was some people around my section that, like, my God, man, I've never seen so many people with tablets and other devices that were like literally trying to record what the WWE crew and other things that was going on throughout the night. But in particular, they were trying to record what the crew was doing with that mud bath. And one of the guys had actually yelled at somebody in our section. He was like, no recording. There's no recording of this whatsoever. And the person was trying to say, I'm not recording. And he was like, no recording, no taking pictures, none of that. And I don't know if that person had stopped, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that the WWE crew guy was like, hey, what are you doing over there? But yeah, I love how they went on ahead and they got ready for that match. I like seeing Vickie Guerrero come out in her excuse me outfit. Man, but what she was wearing before, from my vantage point, I know some of you guys are like, Vickie Guerrero, she's kind of hard to look at in the face, man, but I think that's because of the type of character we've seen her with all these years. If you really just kind of strip away that whole excuse me persona and everything, and you have Vickie just die down on the mascara and everything, she's actually fairly a good looking woman. I tell you what, she's built in all the right places. And when I saw her walk onto the ramp and she had them nice little tight black licorice spandex pants on, I was really enjoying the view that I was seeing. But we saw Stephanie McMahon. She came out, wasn't in her in-ring gear. Basically had Rosa Mendez, Alicia Fox. I can't think of who the other diva was right now because once again, I found myself with my camera. I'm like, wow, Stephanie's just going to stand right there at the top of the ramp. Photo opportunity. And I just kept taking pictures of Stephanie. But I know that eventually we had saw Vickie Guerrero make her way to Stephanie and was kind of crying over the fact that what was happening with her, it wasn't fair. It kind of seemed like it was a disadvantage that was going on with her and everything. But we saw Vickie Guerrero fight the girls off one by one, throwing them into the mud bath. And then Stephanie McMahon jumped Vickie Guerrero from behind, sent her into the mud bath, and that was pretty much it. If Vickie won, she would have been able to continue to be the SmackDown general manager. However, if she lost, well, Vickie Guerrero is fired once again. I'm sure that there's probably going to be a lot of dirt sheets this week that's probably going to be like, oh, well, we have it on good authority that Vickie Guerrero is going to be wrapping things up in the WWE. That's why you saw this match go down. As I know that a couple of months back, rumor had it that she was finishing up loose ends with the company and that she was just getting ready to make the next transition in her life, live a nice, quiet civilian life and all that, yada, yada, yada. But I don't feed into the rumors and all that unless I hear it from Vickie Guerrero's mouth herself via Twitter, Facebook. I'm not going to believe what I hear from the other websites and all that. I believe today is Vickie Guerrero's birthday too. I couldn't help but look at some new Twitter activity that was going on as I was preparing. I saw somebody wish her a happy birthday. I'll have to look into that and try to verify it. But it would appear as though today is her birthday. If that is the case, Vickie Guerrero, happy birthday. You definitely might want to send her some happy birthday wishes. Hit her up on Twitter at, I believe it's Excuse Me WWE. You'll be able to find her. Just type in Vickie Guerrero in the Twitter search and you'll be able to find her. What I want to do right now is take a brief pause and let you guys know that's going to be checking out the recording of this. You're going to be seeing an ad break right about now. Just hang tight for a few seconds, and then when we come on back, we'll continue our talk of the final WWE Raw as they were setting everything up going into their Money in the Bank pay-per-view that's going to be coming up this Sunday. A lot more to cover, so stick around. You're checking out a special edition, Tuesday morning edition at that, of the RCWR show. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. All right, let us continue the talk of WWE Raw as you're checking out the RCWR show live. I'm your host right here, Black Avenger Lee Sanders. This episode is being sponsored in part by Audible.com, where if you use our URL, audibletrial.com/the RCWR show, you get yourself one free audiobook and you get yourself 1 month of free service. You can't beat that. You want to check out some wrestling books that's maybe been on the back burner for a while? Haven't gotten a chance to check them out yet? Now you got the opportunity. Wrestling maybe not your cup of tea this go around as far as reading material? No problem. Romance, sci-fi, take your pick. Audible.com has it all. They have about over 150,000 titles. Think of these books that you get to hear in great audio format as a big, long, fun, and exciting podcast. That's the best way I can describe it to you guys. Once again, take advantage of this free opportunities by using our URL at audibletrial.com/the RCWR show. Get yourself a free Audible book and 1 month free of service. You can't beat that, man. I use it myself. It's really awesome. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Let's continue to talk of WWE Raw. Once again, I have to refer to my notes on the phone. A lot of multitasking that I was doing. You could only just picture me, man. I got a big old fat cup of beer, and I've got the phone, and I'm looking, and I'm trying to put the results in, and I've got nice women just going past me left and right. A lot of multitasking I was doing tonight for you guys. All right. Luke Harper, he had defeated one of the Usos. You know, it's so hard for me to tell which one is which. Great matchup, though. It looks like post-match we saw one of the Usos talk a big old hot ball of crap to Harper and Rowan and was like, hey, get your funky ass back over here. Let's do this again because I want to beat that ass. And we had actually saw one of the other Uso brothers take on Rowan. So Harper defeated one of the Usos, and then we had saw one of the Usos come right back around and defeat Rowan. And how about that new intro for Harper and Rowan? My God, my ears, to hear that live in attendance, not only was my ears hurting, I thought I was gonna like bleed from my ears and my eyes. I mean, that music was just so obnoxious. I understand the execution that they were trying to do with it, but it needs some work. They need to fine tune it a little bit. Make it very simplistic. I mean, I know some of you guys are probably hearing that and you're like, well, how can it get any more simplistic? Honestly, I think they just need to go with a organ approach. Like just do the whole Undertaker thing. They for the most part it's like an organ that's basically playing for the Undertaker's music, right? Why don't they just kind of implement that for Harper and Rowan? That's just my personal pick. I mean, to each its own, but that's just my personal preference. Rusev, como mierda. Alexander Rusev, we saw this vignette that he had cut by a Titantron. We pretty much had saw what you guys had saw at home as Lana, Alexander Rusev, footage of them was shown from earlier in the day where they were talking a hot big old ball of trash on the nation's capital and all that, yada yada yada. There was actually my section. We were like booing the hell out of Rusev. We like there was like a sigh of groans when we saw Alexander Rusev pop up on the Titantron. It was like this fool. Ay, 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 ay. And it's so funny too because I want to jump ahead while we're talking about Rusev because we had saw Damien Sandow dressed as Abe Lincoln. Oh my God. I was like, I couldn't wait to talk about this with you guys. So let's just go back a second and just process some of the things that Abe Lincoln or Damien Sandow had said in the brief promo that he cut. He basically said, are you guys not satisfied with what you've been seeing of me the past couple of weeks? That was pretty much Damien Sandow's whole message. He basically said, look, I am defining my own destiny. I'm making my own path. Basically, he was saying, if you don't like what's going on with me right now, tough shit. That was basically Damien Sandow's whole message. And I just thought that was kind of interesting, the timing of it, because I know that there's a core audience of fans. And I must admit, early on, I did kind of say to myself, what the hell is going on with WWE Creative utilizing Damien Sandow? They're putting him in these weird, silly little gimmicks, and it was kind of like, is it really needed? But I was able to like really look at it from a full perspective and say, okay, you know what? These gimmicks are silly that he's doing, but it's got people talking. And the fact that it's got people talking, I seriously think that Damien Sandow is just in this purgatory mode right now. And basically, if he can endure it, there is going to be something very bright waiting for him at the other side. I think he's just in purgatory right now. I think this is just a big test for Damien Sandow, But oh my God, seeing him come out as Abe Lincoln, I had so many thoughts in my head. First thing I thought to myself was, hey, Abe, you think you could spare a couple of $105 bills, And then I was saying, wait a minute, aren't you dead? Didn't John Wilkes Booth, like, pop you in the back of the head at the theater? What the hell are you doing here, I couldn't help but make funny little jokes like that in my mind. And then to see Biggie Langston come out. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet that I put out, but I put one very dark and raunchy tweet out there that honestly I thought it was hilarious because to see Biggie Langston come out and to see Damien Sandow dressed as Abe Lincoln, the first thing that I thought about was the Emancipation Proclamation that Abe Lincoln had signed, where a select few blacks, if they joined the military, they basically were given a pass as a slave or whatever per Abe Lincoln. And as soon as I saw Biggie Langston come out, I just said to myself, damn, it looks like Honest Abe actually forgot about one runaway slave, and his name is Biggie Langston. I swear to God, that's exactly what I said when I saw Biggie come out. And then just the squash match. afterwards. I mean, that match really did not even last that damn long. What was that, guys? Like about a 2 minute match or whatever. I mean, just ridiculous, man. Very short match. But you know what? Like I said, as far as Damien Sandow goes, he's getting attention. People are talking about these silly little gimmicks that he's doing. Like I said, I think WWE is preparing him. I think, honestly, mark my words, if not before this year is out, definitely like right before the Royal Rumble, I think we're going to be seeing a reignited push and a serious push at that for Damien Sandow. You just mark my words on that. Let's talk about some other matches that we had saw. Cameron, she had defeated Alicia Fox while Paige was at ringside. Finally took some pictures of Paige. It was nice to finally see Paige for the very first time. I got a nice handful of pictures of her at commentating with Jerry Lawler, JBL, Michael Cole. I'll post those later on today for you guys. Looks like as a result of Cameron defeating Alicia Fox, Cameron is now the new #1 contender that is going to be taking on Paige for that Divas Championship this Sunday at Money in the Bank. I'm actually looking forward to that personally. I wish that Alicia Fox and Paige would have continued on, but I don't mind there being a little bit of a break. But you know, something's going to happen with Paige. I mean, look, I'm a huge Paige fan, big fan of her work from NXT and all that. But I mean, I've got to see a little bit more from Paige. It's so funny because last week somebody had said to me, because I said something about Paige that I guess this one individual perceived as me basically saying Paige is boring. I don't think Paige is boring. If anything, I think Paige is a good performer. She just needs more time under her belt. She needs more experience under her belt to really tell that story when she's in the ring, as far as selling the moves that she gets when she's getting her ass handed to her, selling that emotion, having all that great ring psychology that just really comes in due time. Alicia Fox is already there. Oksana, even though they got rid of her, she was there. She had that down packed. Naomi, Cameron, they've got that down. But I don't quite see it yet in Paige. And for me, Paige is in a little bit of a stalemate right now. You know, I thought that the whole Paige experiment was pretty good. But I mean, if I don't see any improvements, I would say like in the next 2 months, man, WWE is going to have to seriously put some thought into whether or not she needs to continue to be the Divas champion. For you guys that want to say, well, you know, give her time. Give her time. She's young, or give her time. She's just breaking in. You know what? If it wasn't for her being the Divas champion, I would say that. But the fact that the powers that be said, look, we're going to make you be the champion, there's really no excuse, unfortunately. You know, that's just my honest take on that. It's okay if we disagree on that, but that's just my honest take on that. Even right down to the point, and I challenge you guys to go back and watch this, and then I'm going to move on. But for me, because I was looking with my camera and everything, and I had a great zoom-in lens, but I get a really nice close-up of Cameron looking at Paige, and I'm like, okay, so they're trying to sell it. They're trying to sell it. They're going to be getting it on for the Divas Championship. They're trying to sell it. And it was like Paige was just standing there just kind of like, you know, this is the Divas belt, and Paige is just like no emotion. It just, I've seen better stare downs for a title than what I did with Paige. You know, it was just so, it was so weak. You know, I'm hoping that they have a really phenomenal match and everything, but Paige still has a long ways to go, man. Again, not crapping on her. I think she's a great in-ring performer. It's just she still has a long ways to go. Triple H, this was my favorite part, as I really did not get that many good pictures of Triple H past few times that I was there at Raw. Well, this go round, I got some pretty damn good pictures. You know, I'm hoping that in the future when it comes to WWE, like promoting these Money in the Bank ladder matches, and for me, what was really irritating was trying to like maneuver around these ladders because as these wrestlers and other stars, everybody that was just coming down the ramp, they would just stand at a certain point where you see nothing but ladders, and it's kind of like, okay, can you move? The ladder's in the way. Get that damn thing out the way already. So, and I think some of the wrestlers, for the most part, they kind of understood that, and they tried to like put themselves in a position where like, okay, I know there's probably going to be a lot of people that want to take pictures and everything, so some of the people, Triple H definitely one of them. It was kind of like at one point he stood like right in front of the ladder, so you really couldn't get any good pictures. And then he kind of moved a little bit, and he was talking, and it was nice because I got some really good pictures of Triple H. Good stuff right there. He basically was plugging the rest of the participants for Money in the Bank. As you guys found out, it's going to be Kofi Kingston. Now, I got no problem with him. He's like the king when it comes to ladders. Always is able to do phenomenal things involving ladders. Jack Swagger, he's in there. I love that. Dolph Ziggler, and I love what Triple H said about Dolph Ziggler. He basically was like, contrary to what some of you may feel or how you all may feel about Dolph Ziggler, I like the guy. He's in this match. So we got Dolph Ziggler in there, RVD. By the way, I love the little jab that Triple H had took at RVD, basically saying, personally, I think the person that's going to win this is RV, and he just started busting up laughing. I thought that was awesome right there. Of course, Seth Rollins is in there. Wade Barrett is in there. But after Triple H said the joke and he got serious, he was like, look, seriously, I think the person that's going to win this whole shebang is the person that's going to be the future of this company, Seth Rollins. And from there, we saw Seth Rollins come out. And man, I don't know what was up, but like my section, there was probably like about one to maybe two guys that really were not fond of Seth Rollins. They were like, your promos still suck. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns are better than you. And for some odd reason, we had chants of CM Punk. God, I can't believe we're still on that. But we saw Seth Rollins come out. I'm feeling his new in-ring gear. New in-ring gear, by the way. I think it's pretty badass on him. Loving the whole new look. We saw him come in. He basically cut a promo, hyping himself up and everything. RVD comes out. And I loved Seth Rollins and RVD going back and forth. I love how Seth Rollins was saying to RVD, oh, yeah, so, like, your time has passed already, your time was, like, back in 2005, and I love how RVD just countered right back and was like, well, while I was winning championships back in 2005, you were still in your diapers, you were training, trying to be where I'm at right now. And I love how RVD also took a jab at Triple H saying, Trips, you want to tell jokes, but let's not forget that I was involved in one of your first matches back and I damn near broke your neck and all that. I was like, oh, great spot right there. Also had talked about how, he was a former WWE champion and all that. So really, I like the way that the booking was done right here between RVD and Seth Rollins, as RVD had challenged Seth Rollins to a match. And that was actually a damn good match, too. That was probably, for me, top three. There was three matches that I liked in general tonight. That was definitely one of them. Seth Rollins had defeated RVD with that Gears of War curb stomp. My God, that is one hell of a curb stomp, man. I love that finisher. I can't wait to see that in the next WWE video game. I'm telling you, I'm going to be just milking the hell out of that move to death. I'm telling you guys right now. Uh, Post-match, Seth Rollins wasn't able to enjoy his victory that long as we saw Dean Ambrose come in, started beating the holy crap out of Seth. Seth barely able to escape. Dean Ambrose cutting a promo saying, look, Trips, put me in the Money in the Bank ladder match. You might as well, because either way, I'm going to be getting my hands on Seth Rollins, so might as well make the kitty a little bit sweeter. Go on ahead, put me in there. I deserve a shot too at possibly becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. And we heard new Dean Ambrose music. Now, I'm somewhat at a disadvantage because I haven't seen SmackDown in the past couple of weeks, so I don't know if Dean Ambrose music had premiered on an episode of SmackDown. So for me to see and hear what I heard tonight was entirely new. Also, this was my first time seeing his new look post the breakup of the Shield and all that, and I love it. I love it. Got a little Johnny Moxley thing going on right there. Speaking of which, if you guys have not seen some of his best of work from CZW, you really should. We're actually going to be reviewing that later this week for you guys. But yeah, I love Dean Ambrose' new music, man. Totally kicks ass. I'm loving it. Hopefully they don't put any vocals to it. No vocals, please. Wade Barrett taking on Dolph Ziggler. Insane. Insane to the brain. That was a damn good matchup right there. It was for the Intercontinental Championship. There's a couple of times there where it was looking as though Dolph Ziggler was possibly going to become the new IC champion. My God, I don't know how it really came off on TV, but like everybody in attendance was really behind this match. The chance that was there for Dolph Ziggler, it was so loud. Everybody was really pulling for Dolph. Everybody was pulling for Barrett, but it was more so for Dolph Ziggler. He was really, really going out there and putting it all out on the line. Even though Wade Barrett had retained successfully the IC championship, I'm really hoping that if it's true that Dolph Ziggler is in a position right now with WWE booking and creative where they're not trying to have him be in high profile spots, they're not trying to have him be a main eventer because of the past few concussions that he sustained, I think that's unfortunate because I still feel that as long as he can just be careful and kind of die down on some of his moves, kind of switch it up a little bit, I think he's got some longevity as a main eventer. I'm hoping that in due time, at least with the type of reaction that he got tonight, at least WWE kind of rethinks things and maybe in the near future makes a new commitment to him. But to had experience, and I've seen Dolph Ziggler a couple of times now at past few WWE events. I really enjoyed this the most. This was probably the best I've seen of him past couple of years now. Damn good matchup that he had right there. We saw a promo for Stardust. I was actually expecting him. I actually was disappointed that I did not get to see Stardust. Past few times I've got to see Cody Rhodes, I've got to see Goldust. I was actually a little disappointed that I did not get to see Stardust right there live, but instead I get him on the Titantron. That just really did not do justice for me. Wow, did we burn through everything else that quick? Yeah, it looks like we burned through everything else. All right, so looks like main events. Wait a minute, let me make sure I got this right. Jack Swagger. I knew I was missing one match. Jack Swagger had defeated Kofi Kingston. That was actually another one that I had really enjoyed too. Main event, it was Sheamus teaming up with John Cena, Roman Reigns taking on Alberto Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Cesaro. So you had Sheamus teaming up with John Cena, Roman Reigns to take on Alberto Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and Cesaro. It was a 3-on-4 handicap match. I thought this was a great closer for Raw. I'm not really sure how much you guys had saw, but like pretty much after Sheamus did the devastating bro kick and all that, and he picked up the victory for his team, and we saw Kane come out, and he just destroyed the hell out of all of the Money in the Bank participants there. I mean, my section was like scared shitless because the flames, it was like just this big explosion. It just came out of nowhere. And we're like, what the hell was that? And then we see Kane come out, and we're like, oh, snap. Here comes Kane. Kane means business, and he's just giving out choke slams like Halloween candy. And to see Triple H right there saying, oh, guys, meet the eighth participant in the Money in the Bank ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, the Big Red Monster, Kane. And that was just a solid moment. Now, I'm assuming, because I haven't seen the episode of Raw from tonight on my DVR yet, but I'm assuming Raw went off in a way where you guys probably just saw dead bodies laying around and Kane was just standing there or whatever. Well, here's where it got interesting. Triple H, Randy Orton, they went to the back, and then Bray Wyatt soon followed. So we see Cesaro, he's in the ring, he's kind of like struggling to get to his feet. We see Sheamus, we see Roman Reigns, and we see Cena. Hopefully I didn't say the same names twice, but just in case. We saw John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Sheamus. They all were looking at Cesaro. And my mind's a little fuzzy right now because I was starting to get my gear together, ready to haul ass. I believe they were about to rough up Cesaro. And then, like, all of a sudden, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, they came back down. And every man was just fighting whoever. And it was so funny because at the end, it was basically Bray Wyatt by himself taking on all three of the baby faces, and they were just delivering their finishers on him left and right. John Cena had took Bray Wyatt over to the mud pool bath, threw him in it. It was hilarious. And it was awesome too because again, I come back and it's like, all right, finally I get some really good pictures of John Cena, because John Cena was like that close to us in our section when he came over to throw Bray Wyatt in the pool and everything. And it was like, oh, that's awesome. Great spot right there. There was one other match that I was missing, which was Bo Dallas picking up the victory on Titus O'Neil. My God, that Bo Dallas. I know there's probably some of you guys that really just do not like Bo Dallas. You can't stand him. But he's hilarious as hell. I love him. He just has great timing, and it's the little things that he does that just makes him get over so well. Like the promo he tried to cut on Titus O'Neil post-match after he beat his ass, and Titus O'Neil just smacks the microphone away, and Bo Dallas, he just starts chuckling. He's like, oh, poor me, forgive me, Butterfinger's there. And once again, he tells Titus, just get back on top of that horse and try again, and you'll come out on top because I believe in you. And when you believe, he's just saying his little crappy lines. The way he just does it, man, it's just, I can't do it, but you guys get it. He's just freaking hilarious. He's awesome. I love this guy, man. I love him. It's like, if I could just say one thing, and I want to get this campaign going, can we please see this guy get new intro music? Come on, WWE. You hooked up CM Punk, right? You hooked up CM Punk with the Cult of Personality, okay? You hooked him up with that by In Living Color. Come on, go out of your way and pay those royalties for that Journey song, Don't Stop Believing. I think that would just be freaking hilarious. Or, hey, Steve Perry looks to be kind of making some type of a comeback, if you will. Maybe you could see if he could do a nice little updated version and just be like, don't stop believing. I mean, I'm sure for the right amount of money, Steve Perry would do it. I don't think it would piss off the other members of Journey. I mean, hell, Journey, like, then this is what's sad about Journey, and here's how I know Journey would be fine for this WWE. You can go on Journey's website, and if you're going to have a wedding, a funeral, a bar mitzvah,
or maybe you just want to have there be something nice for your son or daughter for their 16th birthday, sweet 16 or whatever, Journey will play. They'll come to your house and they'll play. So, I mean, they're all about the dollar. They're just whoring themselves out there like that. So, WWE, see if you can, maybe work with Journey and do a nice little updated version of Don't Stop Believing. I think that would just really go over well with the WWE fans. I think. Let me know what you guys think about that. But overall tonight, I thought Raw was phenomenally well. For me, if I could just look at any low points that there might have been, let me just look at the card again here. Definitely what was going on when they were filming for Superstars. I particularly didn't care for that. I thought that was pretty weak. Other than that, let me just look at this real quick, guys. Um, it wasn't a bad episode. It really was not that bad of an episode. I don't really know how it played off on TV, but like DC residents, they represented. I mean, they were very energetic. I mean, these guys were energetic as early as when we all were in the lines. I mean, they were doing yes chants when the gates were coming up and security was coming. They were like, yes, yes, yes. And I said to them, now you make sure you still have that energy when it comes time to do Raw, because we need to give that energy out. We don't need to be sitting there quiet like a bunch of freaking crickets. And the crowd, they were definitely into it. I thought this was a decent Money in the Bank go home show, as we now know that Daniel Bryan is going to be kicking off the Money in the Bank pre-show. Should be very interesting to see what he has to say. This is going to be his first time speaking since he was stripped of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It's a tongue twister after a while, but he's going to be at the Money in the Bank kickoff. I look forward to seeing that. I thought they did a very good job. They sold it tonight. The DC crowd, they definitely represented. I thought they were better than earlier when it came to the final Raw before WrestleMania, which I was part of. I enjoyed this atmosphere more than the last go round for sure. Let's get to you guys' comments. Or actually, you know what? Let's go on ahead and let's take one more ad break. So for those of you that's checking out the recording of this right now, you're going to see one more ad break. Just hang tight for a few seconds. We'll come on back, go through some of the comments, if there's any at all, because we're going into the late night hour here. But if there's some comments, we'll see what y'all had to say about Raw tonight. I am definitely at you all's disposal to ask me some quick questions about my experience since I was there at the Verizon Center for this episode. And I'll give you guys some quick programming notes as we got some great guests that's going to be dropping by. So hang tight, and we'll be coming right back. You're checking out the RCWR show. All right, and we are back. All right, so we got some quick programming notes that we need to let you guys know about, as we have some very solid guests that's going to be stopping by the show. I want to tell you guys about it. Want to hear it? Here it go. All right, so this Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on our radio edition of the RCWR show, we're going to be chatting it up with the beautiful and the lovely Heather Lynn, independent pro wrestler, valet extraordinaire. She is the new Shine Wrestling hostess. We're going to be chatting it up with her and find out what all is going to be happening, as from Ybor City, Florida, this Friday. There's going to be another Shine Wrestling pay-per-view event, Shine 20. So we'll find out from her what all has been happening. It's been a while since we've talked about the Shine Wrestling promotion. So Heather's gracing us with an appearance and is going to get us all caught up to speed. Let us know what all has been happening since last we talked about that promotion. And that's just the first half. In the second half, we're going to be talking to Behind the Ropes star, or one of the stars, Andrew the Reinforcer Anderson. Now, you all may be familiar with this independent wrestler. He is part of this Behind the Ropes documentary. I'm sure you guys have probably heard about it. If not, this is basically a documentary that former Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Bill Apter has gotten involved with. Jimmy Fly Snooker's involved in it. There's a boatload of people that's involved with this project. It's been picking up a lot of buzz. When you see the trailers for it and everything, it's just freaking awesome. They got about maybe 12 days left as they're trying to gain enough money to be able to make this documentary. They got to go through some more final stages with it and everything. And we're going to be talking with Andrew to find out how this project had came together and everything. So join us for that. I mean, we got two really great guests that's going to be coming up this Tuesday night, handful of hours actually, on our radio version of the RCWR show. You'll be able to catch that at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. If you're not going to be in front of your desktop, man, if you got a tablet, a portable device, Android, cell phone, you'll be able to call into the show and you can listen that way. Of course, you can always scoop up the episodes on the downloads and all that, as we got you guys hooked up on iTunes, Stitcher, all those respective platforms. So yeah, check that out, man. It's going to be really good. Let's see what speaking of Money in the Bank, we are going to be doing a Money in the Bank post show. It's going to be a simulcast that will air this Sunday at 10:45 p.m. Eastern, where as soon as WWE Raw goes off, I said WWE Raw, forgive me folks, one too many beers tonight. As soon as the pay-per-view goes off the air is what I was trying to say. We're going to be welcoming a new broadcast partner, good buddy of mine, and I can't think of a better person to be talking about all things wrestling and beyond with than our good pal Titus Machiavelli. Yes, Titus Machiavelli joins the broadcast team beginning this Sunday with our Money in the Bank post-show simulcast, which you'll be able to catch here on YouTube and also on Blog Talk Radio. All right, let's get to you guys' comments now, because I'm curious to see if you guys have anything to say with regards to tonight's WWE Raw, or if maybe there's a question I might be able to answer for you guys since I was actually there at the event. Let's pull you guys' comments up here, and let's see what you guys got to say. Refresh. We'll take it from the bottom, and we'll work our way to the top. A decent amount of comments coming in. Let's start with, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, my friend. You know what? Just to not insult you, I'm just going to call you Chris. You know who you are. Paige shouldn't be Divas champ. Giving a title to a face on a debut never works. Only works for heels. Carlito. Yeah, speaking of Carlito, it was so funny how Alberto Del Rio, I forgot who he did the backstabber to. I want to say it was maybe Roman Reigns. And my section was like, Carlito, Carlito. And somebody was like, vintage Carlito. I'm like, and I got to say this real quick. And I got to give this guy credit on Twitter because he made me laugh so hard. I cried. And I had like the people that were sitting to my left and right wondering what the hell was I looking at. That was so funny. But you know the scene where Big E Langston, he started cutting his promo after he defeated Honest Abe. It was like coming off like a church sermon. I mean, I was ready to go, praise Jeebus, you know, feel the power of the Lord, you know. I liked how Alexander Rusev came out and they like just start beating the crap out of each other. And you cannot make this up. I actually said real loud, and it had my entire section laughing. I actually said real loud when we saw Alexander Rusev put Big E Langston in that camel clutch. I said, stop! Stop! He's killing Apollo Creed! Stop! And my entire section just started busting up laughing. And there was this person on Twitter, and I got to give them props, man, because they had me laugh so damn hard, man. They saw the tweet that I put out, when I had said, hey, I had my section laughing because I had said so and so. And the person I need to give credit to is He Hate Me. That's his name. He Hate Me. He Hate Me has sent me this picture. It was the scene from, I believe it was Rocky 4, where Apollo Creed got killed. Hey, remember Apollo Creed's trainer, the bald head black guy? He was, no, not me. And when I say bald head black guy, no, I'm not talking about me. But no, seriously, the scene in Rocky 4 where Apollo Creed's trainer, best friend or whatever, the bald head black guy, he's witnessing Apollo Creed getting destroyed, and and he's like, get out of here, read the bill for God's sake. And He Hate Me sent me this picture of the bald black guy just crying and with the scream, and I was like, I almost peed my pants. I'm sitting there like, I had like a nice amount of beer, and I'm like, okay, can this show end already? I'm ready to go. And He Hate Me sends me this picture, so I'm like, just imagine you just open it up and you just see it, and it's like, what the hell? And then he follows it up. He follows it up by sending me another picture of Apollo Creed in his Uncle Sam gear, but rather than it be Carl Weathers' face, it's actually Biggie Langston. So it's like, I want you, and it's Biggie Langston just all right there. Hilarious stuff, man. He Hate Me. I got to give you a shout out, man. That was awesome. If you're following us on Twitter, we did retweet it. It was like one of the last retweets that we did. Hilarious stuff right there. See what else you guys got to say here. Jack, I have to agree. I like Paige, but she needs work. Chris would follow that up. Now, if she had been called up and worked her way to the title, that would have worked. Yeah, I agree. Reggie, what's up, man? Did anyone else see the lady who touched Roman Reigns' hair as he walked down the stairs? It was like she got an orgasm after doing that. Anyway, I see a scenario where someone grabs one of those titles and someone grabs the other. I actually didn't see it, man. I was looking for Roman Reigns. All of us were in my section, and we were like, where's Roman Reigns? Where's he coming out? By the time we realized where Roman Reigns was, he was like already at ringside. And I think it's interesting how he gets to keep the Shield music, but it sounds like it was modified a little bit. So I guess Roman Reigns is going to be keeping his Shield gear. He's not going to be getting a upgrade. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I'm fine for it, but I was expecting him to get a little bit of a tweak with his gear. Maybe it's still on the horizon, man. Who knows? FW, what's up, man? Hey, man, I've been wondering, is the crowd legit? Because they toned down the chants for Dolph Ziggler that one time on SmackDown. Everyone hates John Cena, so did they actually pop like that for him? Just curious. That's actually a very good question, King. As far as Dolph Ziggler, he got mad freaking pop from everybody that was there in attendance. I was just taken aback by how much love Dolph Ziggler had received. But then again, it's DC, Maryland, Virginia. They usually kind of cater towards the guys that like really has good, strong work ethic and all that, is really able to go over with their character. And it seems like every single time we see a Dolph Ziggler match over here, Dolph Ziggler always gets love, but he got mad love tonight. Wade Barrett did as well. I know at one point the fans were chanting during that match, "This is awesome! This is awesome!" For John Cena, when we saw him pop up on the Titantron and he was talking to Renee, you heard like at first a couple of boos, like as soon as you saw John Cena, but then like overwhelmingly the cheers just took over. But then when he was talking about how he's going to be the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion and all that, you heard unanimous cheers, but once again, you kind of heard just a little bit of boos. When John Cena came out for the main event match, I really didn't hear that many boos. It was nothing but like cheers, believe it or not. Um, So I know WWE, they have a tendency to pump in crowds and everything like that, but on this night, John Cena actually got more love compared to the last couple of times where it was like he kind of sounded like he was almost about to get booed out of the building. Like that one time he was that one time on Raw where he met with The Rock one last time and all that. Yeah, DC kind of like booed his ass. They were more on The Rock side than John Cena's side. Jalen, if you was a WWE booker, what match would you book for WrestleMania 31? That's a very good question, my friend. But we're going in the overtime. How about I do a rain check and we actually address that on our Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show? I'd be more than happy to go in depth on that then. You're more than welcome to listen to that episode. We'll definitely address it for you. Dragon, what XD? They actually did that. Abe and Big E. Yeah, they actually did that. Yeah. Hey, Crystal, what's up? Loved Big E taking us back to church with his American speech. Great show leading into Money in the Bank. Everyone's betting on Roman Reigns, but it's a true toss up. Yeah. Jamie, hey Lee, wow, talk about dedication for your fans. Not too many people would stay up this late for a Raw review. I felt Raw was all right this week. I felt Stephanie went too far with her comments to Vickie tonight in regards to her husband, but that was Vickie's best, excuse me, matches of the night. Where the Intercontinental title match, even though I thought Dolph Ziggler should have won, and Seth Rollins and RVD match. I would give Raw a 6 out of 10. Question for you, Lee. What happened when Raw goes to a commercial break? Or rather, what happens when Raw goes to a commercial break? Past few times I've been to a Raw event, Jamie, usually Justin Roberts, he'll say, "Okay, you guys, it's that time of the show. Show us your signs." And they play this little cool music, and the cameras just, they go around and they show all the different signs that people had made, and Justin Roberts announces it on the microphone. Surprisingly, they didn't do it this time. Well, other few times they did it, but oddly for this go round, they did not do it. I thought that was kind of weird. Justin Roberts will also use the opportunity to let us know, like the next go round, that WWE is going to be back. So for you guys in the DC metropolitan area, Raw will not be back, or rather, WWE will not be back to the Verizon Center until December 29th. I repeat, WWE will not be back at the Verizon Center for a live event until December 29th, and that's actually going to be for a Monday Night Raw. I don't know if I'm going to be going to that one, guys, because I mean, it's going to be cold as fuck, and I don't know if I really want to be going. I gotta think about it. I'll definitely go to the final Raw before WrestleMania, but I don't really know if I want to be freezing, ooh, so cold, during that time period. I'll have to think about that. Other things that they do. I know in a lot of cases we'll see some of the wrestlers come out and they'll have like a extended intro, and then we'll see like a bunch of commercials and all that. Like um we kept seeing this commercial for Juicy Drops. Is that the name of the candy? I'm not really sure. But like there was like this luchador grappler or whatever, and he's like, "Uno mas, uno mas, uno mas," and it's like, it was hilarious though, the way that they were doing it. But we mainly see on the Titantron commercials for WWE stuff. See, what else do we see? I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, Jamie. That's pretty much all that really happens. Something else that happens is last call for alcohol. In our case, our last call for alcohol was just a little bit after 10. As you see all the beer guys with the blue bins, they're just walking around. Last call for alcohol. Oh, one thing I thought that was funny. One of the girls, the young girls that was sitting on my left, they had wanted cotton candy. So they said to one of the guys, "Hey, how much for cotton candy?" And the guy was like, $6. And so the girl was like, "I'll take one." And so He throws the cotton candy. She catches it. And then I guess her girlfriend was like, I don't get that. I'll get us some real tasty sweets or whatever. Because she actually had went and got, I don't know what do you call it, but like the bakery food that's got a lot of confetti on it. It's like sugar dough. I don't eat it, so I don't know what the hell they call it. But you guys know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, oh well. But it was so funny because her girl talked her out of buying the cotton candy. So she was like, never mind. And as she threw the cotton candy, and this was in between commercial breaks, as she threw the cotton candy, it like hit this guy who was wearing glasses. I mean, my man just went like this. And it was so funny. Like, all of us just started laughing over it. It was like, wow, somebody got hit with cotton candy. That was freaking awesome. Adam Cole was robbed. Oh wait, wrong show. Yes, wrong show. Seriously though, tonight felt very Vince style writing. After watching ROH's pay-per-view last night, I was on a wrestling high. Raw tonight didn't do it for me, except Dolph versus Bad News. That was a great match. I agree. Two more comments I'm gonna read from you guys, then we're gonna go on ahead and wrap this bad boy down. Tim Lee, Money in the Bank should be good. Dean Ambrose is awesome, and I think the Wyatts will walk away with the belts. I'm hoping so, man. Luke, I have to move my mic for you, buddy. I can't really see what you're saying here, man. So let's just move this mic right here, and I'm just gonna put that to the side. And then I'm going to actually talk into the microphone like this for a little bit so that you guys can hear what I have to say as far as Luke's comment. Luke says, good show tonight. I thought the matches was good tonight. I really hate how the WWE is treating Big E. They need to do better with him and bring back my guy Mark Henry. I love to see him put people in the Hall of Pain, because when you hear his badass 3-6 Mafia, somebody going to get their ass kicked theme, you know it's going to be good. They need to do something better with him too. And John Cena is my fave guy in the WWE. I've been a fan of him since '06, so I'm glad to see him still on top. I really want him to win this Sunday, and I don't care what anybody says. I'm always going to be a Cena fan, but if he doesn't win, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns as my second choice. But great show, Lee, as always. Luke's, you're not going to get any complaints from us over here. You had nothing but good things to say. Some people may not agree with your pick for John Cena. I'm sure more people could appreciate your pick for Roman Reigns, though, but it should be a very interesting Money in the Bank pay-per-view that's going to be coming up. One more time, boys and girls, thank you guys so much for staying up late. And honestly, for me, this really wasn't a big deal doing the show for you guys. I actually have work off today, as otherwise I would have ended this a lot sooner. Hell, we probably would maybe not even have done a show, quite honestly, if I did have to go to work in a handful of hours. But I have the day off, so I said, what the hell, let's talk Raw. So I appreciate you guys more, especially the usual gang of you all that check us out every Monday night. I appreciate you all tremendously for staying up a little extra late. I know some of you probably have to get up for work or school or whatever in a handful of hours. I do appreciate you staying up to hear my first impression, since I did go to Raw and Verizon at the Verizon Center. And once again, I got some great pictures that's going to be coming up. I'm not going to post them tonight. I'm just going to go on ahead. For some weird reason, I started getting back into Batman Beyond on Netflix, and I know I have not watched all the episodes, and they've got all 3 seasons up on there. So I'm probably gonna fall asleep watching Batman Beyond after I shut this down. If you like Batman Beyond, yeah, it is on Netflix, by the way. But I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. Thank you guys so much for staying up late with us. One show in the books. We got another one coming up, 10 p.m. Eastern over on Blog Talk. Do join us for that. We got 2 really great guests that's going to be coming by. As once again, we're going to be chatting it up with Shine Wrestling's live event hostess, Heather Lynn. And then we're going to be kicking back And we're going to be talking to Andrew, the reinforcer Anderson. That should be a really solid episode right there. And once again, if you enjoyed our recap and review, please go out of your way to give this piece a thumbs up. You can Google Plus it, Facebook it, retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread the good word about us. Somebody was asking me where was the TNA review from last Thursday. Over the weekend, we did talk about Impact Wrestling. I gave my first impressions finding out that Bobby Lashley is the new champion. But the reason why we did not do a Thursday night edition of Impact Showdown was because I actually went to the DC Improv Comedy and Restaurant Club to go see Mick Foley do his stand-up comedy. So if you guys haven't checked out our review for that, it's actually on our channel right now. I would highly recommend you go check it out. Some phenomenal stuff. And in the meantime, that is going to do it. Represent. Check out the links in the episode description below. We got cool merchandise available for you. Just use all the links. You know how to go about finding it. Wishing all y'all to be safe. And most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll see you next go round. Everybody, take care. Good night, good morning.